Hey guys, here's my next video I promised you guys I'd get. Before I get started, because we will be going over the live market here, I do have to, I'm required to read a risk disclaimer when trading Forex. So trading foreign exchange on a margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Past performance does not indicate any future results. It's the high degree of leverage can work against you as well for you, but before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility of exits that you could sustain loss of some or all of your initial investment. Therefore, you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should also be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. And also the things I'm getting ready to go over with you is for education purposes only. So that's out of the way. Let's get started. You should be able to see my screen right now. This is, I'm going to go over the Great British Pound USD. This is the pair I've been watching today. Just real quick, the way I usually start out on these, any of my currency pairs is I'll hop over to the monthly. You don't have to do this, obviously, but this is just what I do on a daily basis because on the higher time frames, the only thing that I'm looking for, and this is nothing else, nothing more, nothing less, is first, I just want to find out what direction the market is going on a higher time frame. So that's why I hop over to the monthly. I just want to see what direction the trend is going. And here, if you look at this on the monthly, it's clearly in a downtrend. And also the higher time frames, it gives me possible reversals or potential reversal areas. And so those two purposes are the only reason I look at higher time frames. I don't spend much time on them. I just glance at them. That gives me direction and possible reversals. So the first thing I want to do when I'm on this monthly is I want to pick out, first I want to determine whether it's in an uptrend or downtrend. So this is clearly a downtrend. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the highest point and I'll look at the lowest point. So right here you can see this is your highest point and down here is your lowest point. So when I'm looking at that, I don't care what the market is doing past this. So this little area right here, I do not care where the price is. Over here, anything behind it, I don't care at this point. Now, eventually, yes, I might own behind it because past support resistance support could be, your future support resistance. So I do care about the past, but just for the sake of getting my long-term trend line on here, all I care about is the high point and the lowest point and nothing before this and nothing after this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to take my trend line. We'll go up to this highest point. We'll stretch it all the way out, come all the way down until I hit my first level, which is right there. Okay? That's all I'm doing. Why am I not going down here? It's because this level here is past the lowest point. Like I said, I do not care anything past that, only in between the two. So that is my long-term trend line. I want three trend lines, long-term, outer, and inner. Those are the two trend lines that I want to draw. You'll have more trend lines once you go to lower time frames, but those are the main ones. I'll explain why here in a little bit, but those are the main things that I'm looking for right now. So looking at this is telling me two different things. One, it is definitely in a downtrend. Two, I'm going to look to see where my outer trend line is and where my inner trend lines are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop down to a daily. We'll go from the monthly to the daily, and I'm going to see now what the daily is telling me. I always like to trade in the direction of the trend. However, there are times when I will trade against the trend. And I know that doesn't make sense to you when you're listening to this because I sound like a broken record, trade with the trend. When I say trade against the trend, sometimes I will go against the monthly because if an outer trend line is broken, or even if an inner trend line, if any trend line is broken, a lot of times it's going to go for the next trend line. So, for example, here, if this is the long-term trend line, if the outer trend line is broken, and we'll find out here in a minute, then chances are it's going to head towards the long-term trend line before it falls again. So let me hop actually real quick back over to the monthly. Here's one thing that I also do as well. Once I figure this out on the trend here, I'm going to find out first another way of how this market's going. I'm going to be drawing my trend lines or my Fibonacci's. I want to know what type of extension that this is going for. I want to find out, are we in the zone? Are we outside the zone? Where are we at as far as the monthly goes? So right now, give me 1 second here. So right now, my Fibonacci's I'm going to run from this level here all the way down to this level here. Now, why am I going from here and not here? Because this was actually one it's already hit. If I run, I'm just skipping it. If I run my fibs from here to here, which is where I would initially started, you can see here the extension has already been reached. So now our next high, which is this, so it'd be your A, B, C, D's. This is your C, which becomes your new A. So that's why I ran my fibs from here to here. This is my next Fibonacci level. So what this is telling me is we're in a downtrend. Price, it goes from red to red, from blue to blue, from green to green. So if it retraces anywhere from red or less, I'm going for the red down here. So what this is telling me is if I ran my so go change that. If I run this, we'll change this to green for you guys just so you know. All right, so this, I don't know what that is. This is my target. This is where I think price is eventually going to go on the higher time frame. And if you look at this, this is quite a minute pips right here. So, shoot. Try this again. That's a lot of pips. It's 3,800 pips. So we have 3,800 pips of potential profit to be made if price comes down to complete this D extension. So that's another reason why I'm looking for selling opportunities on the Great British Pound. Will it be buying opportunities? Absolutely. But I am looking for selling opportunities right now, but based off of what I'm looking at on the monthly. Now, once I get down to the daily and the 4 hour, the 1 hour, I may feel differently. Eventually, I'm going to be shooting for this level down here. Now, I may do counter trends on the way up. For example, here, like I was telling you about, the long-term trend. If an outer trend has been broken, it'll go towards the long-term trend line. So if the outer trend has been broken, its price is going to eventually try to reach this level before falling again. So yes, I'm going to be looking to sell. However, I may be looking to buy up to this area. Now, if I'm buying up to this area, if it's giving me buying opportunities, once I get to this level, I'm going to be getting out of a trade looking to sell only once I'm getting to this long-term trend line, because this trend line here is stronger than, say, this trend line here, this trend line here. I mean, this long-term trend here is a pretty strong trend line. So if I get up to this area, I will be looking to sell. But if I do, like I said, if I get selling opportunities before then, I'm definitely going to be looking to sell those markets because I think price is going to eventually make its way down to this level here. So that being said, I'm going to jump back over to the daily. The monthly, I do not, that's the only thing that I use it for. I just look for the reversal opportunities, potential opportunities, the trend direction, and where do I think price is going to go. So now that we're on the daily chart here, I'm going to basically do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to look for the high point and the low point. Am I in a downtrend or am I an uptrend based off the daily now? Because a lot of people, including myself, trade off the day, 4 hour, and the 1 hour. So if you trade in the direct, the good thing is if the direction of the daily matches up with the direction of the monthly, you know, that's just more stronger confirmation to me to sell this market. So if I switch, so give me 1 second here. Sorry guys, I got multiple screens up, so bear with me. All right. So on the daily, find the highest and the lowest, just like you did on the monthly. We'll run my fibs. So my fibs from this point to this point. There's my first. I'm sorry. From this point to this point. Okay. So there's my first AB boundary right here. You can see the D extension did get hit. So now this C becomes my new A. There's hardly any retracement. Usually when you don't see any retracement, it's a strong trend in that direction. So now I want to move my new. So my new is the new high point, which is here. So my low point, which is down here. Now it's my low point after the D extension has been hit. So you can see here the D extension was hit over here. So this is my next level, my next low. So this is my new AB boundary right here. I'm going to get rid of this just so it doesn't confuse you all. All right. So I got two different things that I'm looking at. There's several different ways that I can analyze this market. First, we're in a downtrend. Do I want to look for sales, or look to see if price is going to make it up to this long-term trend line on the monthly? Well, there's two different ways I can look at this. First, I can take the highest point to the lowest point, which is here, and I got into a buy position earlier today, which I was stopped out. Now, even though I stopped out, I still like the trade, and here's why. If I take the highest point of this day and I come all the way down, if I run it through, now why am I running it through here? Because if I take, well, why am I bringing it here and not here? Because if you remember what I said the monthly, all I want to know is I want to touch the point, anything before this. This came after the low point. So from here over, I don't care what price is doing. So here's this trend line here on the down. It broke the trend line. So this is why I took the long position up and not a sell. It broke this trend line down earlier on the daily. So I'm looking to go long. So it broke above, came back and retested, and then it broke above again. So it made higher highs and higher lows. So this higher, higher, lower, lower. So it made higher highs and higher lows. So that's why I sold this market. However, there's one thing that I did miss, and I should have known better getting in, but I did, is I got in over here on this candle on the 1 hour. So you can see here when I got in, it just dropped like a rock on this one here. This high failed to break this high. It made a higher low, but it did not make a higher high. So I should probably not have, I know with all my experience in the past, the 15 years experience that I've got, I should have known to wait on the reversal before like I was going to. I sent out a message last night saying, hey, I'm going to get in on a retracement, and then I didn't get it in because I was getting ready to go to bed. I just want to go ahead and get in. And I was really expecting the market to shoot up, but I should have waited on the retracement like I planned. Although that I was still going to get in on the fallbacks, re-enter again. But I still like my trade going long for that reason. However, by seeing this not breaking this high, that should have told me something to hold off on the long position. But since we did, now there's another way. Since we did break this trend line here and it made higher highs and higher lows, I can come back here now again and I can run a counter trend this way. And now, because I've run this counter trend, because here's the highest point of this new, here's the lowest point, here's the high. That's why I ran it through here. Now, here's another reason why I was jumping on the buy position. It came in all the way back down to this trend line here, and then it gave me a bullish candle here. Even though it wasn't an engulfing bullish candle, I still got the bullish candle, the reaction right on that trend line That's why I went ahead and bought the market. Now that it broke past this again, now I'm kind of holding off on this pair because I want to see what it's going to do. Is it going to continue going down and then retest, or is it going to break back? Is this a fake breakthrough and a breakout and is going to push back to the north? So that's where I'm looking at right now. However, now also if you see, now as long as we're inside the AB boundary, which let me draw this. This is the AB boundary right here. So this is the A and this is the B right here. So those are the AB boundaries. As long as price stays inside this, I'm still in a downtrend. However, you have to look at the big picture here that since price did break this trend line, that's why I'm looking for bullish as well. So I'm kind of looking for signals on both directions, because is price going to push up towards this trend line before it falls again, or are we going to see a more bearish? We're going to see this de-extension taken out or level achieved before price pushes back up to test this trend line. So overall, that's what I'm doing now. What I will do, I will fall down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour to give me my entries on this. But I want to wait and see how this candle closes, which right now it's about a little after 3 o'clock. So this is a nice bearish candle that's, you know, probably going to be looking to sell this market again. But this market will teach you patience, because that's definitely what you have to do. You don't want to just jump in this trade just until you really know what direction you're going to go. If I'm ever in doubt, I stay out of any trade. So I'm going to continue watching, and but I wanted you guys to see why I was actually looking for a bullish move in a bearish trend. And this is why, because we broke this on a daily and how it's reacted to this trend line up to this point here. So that's why I was looking at the buy. But if it does not, for one, if it closes below this trend line now, and if we break below this low here, then I will wait for a retest to get back into the bearish side. So right now, that's what I'm looking at on this, and should be some good trades coming up on this, but it's just takes a little bit of patience, and I will continue watching the rest of the market. You can see here I got a lot of pairs. I'll do more videos, but I just wanted to shoot a quick one over on the pound dollar on what I'm looking at. So there's different ways. I'll do another video on certain things. There's several different ways you can trade this, but with the strategy that I use. But I will. I'll shoot another video on that, especially for all of you guys that are pretty new with, we're looking at this. If I delete all this stuff here, will you see what I see right now? Chances are probably not, because I know most of you that in our group are pretty new. So, like I said, I'll shoot another video on an easier way to look at this. But as you get more experience, this is the things you need to start looking for. Don't complicate it, but however I'll teach you guys how to really look for a little bit of things here, such as advanced patterns. And another thing here, speaking of advanced patterns, another reason I was looking for this to push bullish is two different things here that I'm looking for bullish and maybe a bearish. I'm seeing how price reacts to. We may have an inside Gartley on this, which has already hit his extension at that 618 retracement. So if you look at a Gartley, remember, guys, what I told you, Gartley is just basically an inverted ABCD up to the C level. Well, if we run this, if we run a Fibonacci from this level to this level here, right here, right there's that D extension at the 618. So right at this level here is the perfect Gartley pattern to get in a sell position with your stop loss up here and your take profit all the way down here. So based off of this, I am expecting price to hit this level. I just don't know if we're going to see any more retracement first, because when I got in that bullish trade here late last night, I was only getting in and getting out of it right around this area up here, which this is a daily candle, so that was still over 200 pips of reward versus I think it was like 72 pips risk what I was doing. But based off of this Gartley here, and it reacted perfectly to the extension of that Gartley with the at the 618 retracement based off of this new AB boundary, almost right at the same level. That was extremely strong indication that this price is going to reverse down and hopefully take out the 618 extension. So I will be looking to sell this market, but I was going to try to maybe get some counter trades on the way up before it falls. So guys, that's it for this one. I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, you got questions, shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to answer. See you guys.